Listen, a little PSA for the ladies out there. If your husband says he has a fantasy of assaulting you while in a bed of fire, you should probably leave him. Yeah. Hello, everyone. Terrence here with Hollywood Already Did It. If you haven't already, go ahead, like, share, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, ring that bell below. Anytime we have something, you will be among the first to know. Episode 7 of Smoke is here. It is called Whitewashed Tombstone. And it's a doozy. Do you ever want to see a person who thinks they have it all together just completely fall apart? This is the episode for you. Anytime that Dave thinks he's having a win, he feels like, oh, I'm back on the up and up, when he thought he won and got those fires off and then had that massive car crash. Every time the world keeps trying to knock him down a couple of pegs. And this episode, he gets to see that the entire world, even the people he thought were friends, continue to sort of collapse in around him. And he feels at his weakest in this episode. And it's glorious to see. Taron Egerton is doing some fantastic acting in this episode. But we pick up dealing with the ramifications of Michelle's mom coming home. And it's weird because the show really keeps mentioning that. And it's a big thing that sort of hangs or looms over Michelle this whole time. But we still don't have mom home. It's just a lot of talking about it. But she's in a bad way, and she's talking to her boo thing, Captain Steve, who is kind of her person. Even though she has sort of burned that relationship down, he is still there for her whenever she calls or whenever she needs. He comes back towards the end, but he is essentially like a lapdog for her. Even though he gets abused and sort of hit over the head with a newspaper, he keeps coming, and he's here that is sort of like, listen about her mama trauma. And it's funny because he's doing this while roaming around a home that is empty because of the damage that she did. Because she basically said, hey, I'd like to have a relationship, get rid of your wife. He does so, burns it all down, and then she doesn't follow through. It's an interesting sort of look at how Michelle is saying how my mom caused me all this trauma, all this damage, all this stuff, but she is doing the same to other people because the world he's in is not the same. While it may not have been a complete burn down, the house may still be standing, but the people have all been removed from the building. But she's saying to Steve, like, her mother made her feel like she had no value. And with her mother returning home, she's starting to sort of feel that happen again. And I think that's why she sort of lashes out and sort of burns things down and doesn't fully commit to things, because she feels like she has no value. And this police thing is the one thing that she's really good at. So that's where she gets her value from. But you can see that he still wants more from her, but she is liking him right where he is, right in that friend zone. Then we see Michelle talking to her sister-in-law about her mom coming home. And she's like, hey, look, you're really going to let my mom stay in your house? It's like, for me, sure, not a big deal. But for Sophia, who is a lot like me, who has some of her in her, you don't want her to sort of bring those things out. You're completely okay with that. And in that moment, the sis checks her. But then she has a come to Jesus moment later in the episode. We then see, while she is at her lowest, Dave is at his highest. He is on cloud 9. Everybody feels like he is the hero because he has solved the milk jug arsonist. He's doing talk shows. He's talking about his book that he's been writing but didn't get picked up because it doesn't have a date yet, which then triggers to his literary agent that, hey, didn't we pass on this book? Somebody get on the phone and talk to him now. How could we pass on something that's such a good gold mine? Which puts the task force that's sort of been prepped to stop Dave at a bit of a disadvantage. Like I said in the last episode, once he gets this fame, it's going to be harder to sort of put it back in a bottle. They let him become a hero, and now it's going to be he's going to be sort of unstoppable to sort of put back in that cage. The literary agent winds up calling the task force to say, hey, we're trying to reach out to get in touch with Dave because we want to talk about his book. And that gives Captain Steve, Ezra, and Erica the moment to be like, wait a minute, let's use this. So they go and check out and visit the literary agent. This is where things get funny, because Dave just goes back into his home as if everything is fine, as if Ashley didn't just say, hey, I wish you died in that car accident. And he's acting like everything is good. He's in there fixing up breakfast. She comes down the stairs and is like, well, what are you doing here? And he's on the operation, or he's believing that, hey, I'm being seen as a public hero fixes what we have, the issues that we have at home. They're parallel. Like whatever I do out there fixes what's in here. You should go ahead and take me back. And Ashley's like, nah, this ain't got nothing to do with that. I still want you to get the hell out. Your clothes are in the garage. Don't return here. Like, what are you doing? But he is so ignorant and so believing that his ish doesn't stink. He's on cloud nine, that there is nothing that is against him. Like none of his people are going to say no. Like this is what he wanted. He got the win. He stopped the arsonist. His book's about to come out. Everybody should be happy, just like he is happy. We then see Freddie, who's been locked up. Obviously, he's in interrogation, and he's just stonewalling them. He's not talking. He's not saying a word. And then he hears that he's being pegged for all the arsons. Anything that has sort of occurred, he is being pegged for, including the ones that Dave has said. And so that triggers to him, we're like, hold on. No, no. Let me holler at Dave because something's wrong. If I'm getting I know the ones that I did. Let me talk to Dave. He says the only person that I'll speak to is Goodson. So then we see Dave return to the precinct and he's getting praise from everybody. Michelle's even letting him lap it up. She's very good at turning it on and off, just being like, hey, I'm gonna let this guy believe that he is the hero, he is the man, he is the one that's the savior for all of us here at the precinct. But she's giving in to his adulation and he is slopping it up. And then he receives a call that, hey, the precinct, the jail wants you to come because Freddie wants to talk to you and you're the only person he's going to talk to. And he's like, okay. So he goes and Michelle sort of weasels her way and is like, I'm going to come with you. I want to see you in action. I want to see the man behind this capture of this high-end arsonist. And so they make their way there. Captain Steve and Ezra go to see the literary agent and they're having a back and forth. And they're essentially asking her to lie and to put on a ruse to basically get Dave to tell the pieces of his book that are facts from fiction so that they can split which ones are actually true, which ones are not, and get her to do this onto like a sting operation, wearing a wire and all that good stuff. And initially she's balking. She's like, hold on, you want me to put myself in danger for a person who is actively an arsonist? Like that sounds like a terrible idea. And her quote unquote morals are going against her. Like, nah, I can't do that. That doesn't save me. To the point where then Steve's like, well, let me speak to your monetary morals because the story that we have, the story about catching an arsonist who has caught another arsonist and writing a book about that arson is far more compelling and would sell far more books than the one that you were writing just about from Dave's poor writing. And her wheels, you can see, start running. It's like, yeah, that does make more sense. That does make more money. Yeah, I think I can do that. I'm good. So whatever fear she had completely got trumped by them dollar signs. So this arguably is the scene that I feel like this entire sort of series sets up, is the Freddie and Dave interrogation where they get to actually see each other face to face and have a conversation. Because it starts, and I love these type of things because it's an actor piece where Freddie starts on the low end and Dave's comes in on a high. And he's the best person in the room who's like, yeah, I got you dead to rights. Why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? And as the scene goes on, you can see that the power shift switches. And at the very end of it, Freddie is on top and Dave is the smallest person in that room. And it is amazing to see. But Freddie is like, I know I'm an arsonist. But I can tell when another person is there. I can tell that you have that same deep, I'll use the Dexter phrase, the dark passenger that I have. You and I are on the same level. You're just doing a very good job of hiding it, whereas I look like this is what I would do. And so Freddie keeps asking him things like, who's the one who hurt you? Like, who put you in this hole? And he starts saying, like, was it your father? He's like, no. He's like, that's not it. It's like, it was your mother. And you can sort of see Dave react. And he's like, and so then Freddie kind of sort of keeps pulling at that string. Meanwhile, while this is happening, and Michelle and the other two officers that are part of this jail are watching from afar. Doesn't mean anything to the two of them because they don't know the inside track to who Dave is. But Michelle is sort of saying like, ah, this is how you sort of get to him. This is that pathway in. But Dave keeps trying to bring his bravado. He starts bringing up Freddie's foster situation, to which Freddie's like, cool, cool. I know who I am. Like, we don't have a conversation about. I'm good. I have I have given in to who I am, and I'm perfectly fine with it. But looks at Dave and is like, look, this is a bravado that you have. You're hiding behind something. Like your soul is a bunch of maggots, and inside is a dead bird. Like this isn't who you are. And he starts being like, your mother, why didn't she love you? And you remember earlier in the season, there was a conversation where Dave had with Michelle. It was an open conversation which said, hey, my mom left. She's dead to me. It's like, I'm perfectly fine. I'm dead to me. But you can see it had way more effect than not. And Freddie is sort of reading him and letting him know, giving him the tea about himself. Dave keeps trying to like, the power struggle is shifting, but he keeps trying to like reinsert himself back and get that power back. And Dave's like, well, what about those 6 jugs? Like, why did you use 6 jugs at this fire as opposed to what you normally do? And Freddie's like, no. Your mom, did she catch you doing something? Is that why she just bailed on you? Why she left you chilling? Or are you not what she wanted? Like, were you an F up? Like, did you do something? At that point, Dave tells him to shut the hell up. He used a more expletive term, but he tells him to shut the hell up. It's like, or was what you did was something like what me and you are right now? Did she recognize the ish that you are, the person that you are? Did she see it before anybody else did? Like, did you show this sign of whatever it is you are? And she's like, I'm getting the hell out of Dodge. Like, were you the reason why she left? Which Dave is like, all right, I'm done. What are you talking about? Dave throws back at him the Foster stuff, and Freddie's like, well, I got a reason for why I do what I do. But what's your excuse? What makes you tick? Like, how are you this person? And Dave's like, trying because he knows the camera is also on. Dave's also like, I'm not an arsonist. Like, I didn't burn people. Freddie's like, yeah, sure, you're not. Yeah, cool story, bro. That's he basically cool story, bros, Dave, in that moment. And it was to which point Freddie says, like, you're like a whitewashed tomb. Um, you're beautiful on the outside. You make up, you get everybody to sort of believe this facade that you have, but on the inside, you are full of bones of the dead. Like, you are a broken, dead man inside. And then he just starts Joker laughing at him to the point where Dave is like, cut the camera. I need to get out. He goes out, runs out of that precinct, of that jail, and then just profusely vomits on the front of the hood of the car and sort of tells Michelle, like, I'm going to take a rest today. I had some bad tie, but Michelle and he knows that Freddie got to him. Freddie read him and put him down to the barest version, the smallest, most truest form of who Dave is, just got revealed. And Dave did not feel comfortable in that moment at all. His body sort of rejected because he had all this bravado that's always on top, and it got stripped away. And it being purely seen made him physically ill. Back to Michelle's sister-in-law. She goes to talk to her husband, Michelle's brother, and it's like, real quick, I know I said I was good with your mom coming to stay with us. And then he's like, oh, crap, Michelle got to you. And then she's like, well, no, hear me out. Based on what has occurred with your mother and Michelle, are you comfortable if we were to leave your mother in the house with Sophia alone? And he's like, nah. And she's like, well, what are we doing then? Like, why is she with us? Which, not gonna lie, is a fair question. Like, you're so happy to get your mom back, you're not thinking about the ramifications that it has. Would you feel like, hey, I'm just gonna you babysit Sophia? Nah, I don't think you're gonna do that. So then the next day, the sting operation's been set. Ezra and the team are in a truck about a few blocks away, and Erica. I'm sorry, I've been saying Erica. Erica is the literary agent. Dawn is the Anna Komsky's character, who's a part of the task force. But Erica and Dawn are there to sort of entrap, if you will, Dave. Dawn is choosing to now go by Hillary for this little ruse. So it's Erica and Hillary because she's pretending to be the understudy for the main literary agent. And they're just having a conversation. They want to get him to talk about, hey, can you tell us what it is that was fact and fiction in your book? And Ezra tells him, like, you should boost him up a little bit so that he can sort of relax and feel like, hey, he is on a stage performing for you guys. So they do. They give him a couple bottles of champagne, and Dave starts to talking. He starts it going. He gets into his element, and he starts loosening up and chatting them up. And they are putting on the performance of their life, saying how much they want to like lap up the stuff that he's giving them. And as Dave continues, they ask him what the motivation of one particular fire that mirrors the fire that just happened in the book. And Dave says his motivations are that he's to prove that he's the smartest person in the room. He wants everybody to realize that he is smarter than everyone else. He likes the fire to sort of punish these folks. Erica is trying to engage with him to kind of call him out on his BS, but Dawn sort of tells her to stand down. Like she grabs her knee and is like, hey, ease up. We're slowly feeding this line to him so that he can sort of catch himself on the hook. But unfortunately, Erica doesn't fully listen and eventually gets into a tit for tat with Dave about like almost like straight white male privilege and how he can walk into any room and get whatever he wants to. And so Dave sort of recoils a little bit. And so whatever he was feeding on that line, he sort of backs up and then he starts saying, wait a minute. He starts kind of feeling, as Ezra puts it later, his spidey sense is tingling. Like something's not right here because they keep asking about specifics of facts instead of talking more about the book. To which Dave kind of starts giving much more simplistic and straightforward answers and not sort of delving in. So they've lost it. The ruse is up. They don't quite know. He doesn't quite know what's going on, but he knows like I don't like this situation, so I'm going to back out of it. So then we see Michelle at a gym working out, getting in on a treadmill, and Ashley is there now. Find out quickly that this is a setup for Michelle to get to talk to Ashley because she has set up the gym so that Ashley kind of has to come to right next to her treadmill, and they have a conversation. And Ashley's not dumb. Ash completely sees that Michelle has set this up and is like, "Hold on, why do you want to talk with me?" And then Michelle lets on that like I am Dave's partner. To which Ash immediately looks at her and is like, "You're very pretty. No reason why. Like, of course he's sleeping with you." And Michelle's like, "Why? No, that might be what the book says, but nothing is happening here." And then Ash quickly is like, "This isn't a chance. You're not just happen to be at my gym. Like, you wanted to meet." And Michelle's like, "Yes." Because she straight up asked, like, if I were to suspect your husband of being an arsonist, actually, she doesn't mention an arsonist. She's like, if I were to suspect your husband of a crime, would that shock you? And Ash's response was, what crime would that be? To which Michelle responded, what kind of crime do you think he'd be capable of? And Ashley, straight face, said, anything, which is a wild thing to say to somebody that who up until a few weeks ago was perfectly fine sleeping in your house and sleeping in your bed and you sleeping with him. It gets even crazier, folks, because the stuff that Ashley says to Michelle to Michelle about Dave is insane, and there is no reason why this woman should have been staying around with Dave. But they get to talk more, and Michelle wonders, other than the book, why did you think that Dave was cheating? And Ashley says, well, he spent so many nights out. Um, and he said that he was going to go look for fires, but he never got the call on the radio. So he was just going out. I'm not dumb. Like I can put two and two together. But she was in a situation where she felt being a single mom with a kid sort of had devalued her worth. And so she sort of felt she had to take Dave, even with all the faults that he sort of had. She kind of felt like, hey, society's going to look at me a different way. I got to sort of stay in this. And Michelle's like, nah, you ain't got to do that. Ashley brings up the fact like she felt a little weak that she's just now leaving. And Michelle's like, nah, it's brave of you to finally get up out of there. Like, you did the right thing. Like, I applaud you on it. And then Michelle kind of is like, well, is there anything? Actually, Michelle leads on and leaks to Ash that has she ever met any of the other exes? To which Ashley said, I only know there's only one ex. And Michelle's like, oh crap, no, there are two. And it's clear that Dave purposely is holding away Reba because we find out that Reba's sort of the one who knows kind of the truest form of who Dave is. But Michelle asked, did Dave ever harm Ashley? And she said no. But she did say she would catch glimpses of him in the reflection of a mirror, like after they would have like a mundane conversation where he would smile at me face to face, but then he would turn around and I would catch the reflection, and it would look like he was a completely different person, a different thing. Like that person in that reflection wanted to put a hammer to my head, like wanted to end my life over something so mundane. But she said, no, he never touched me. He's like the sex was rough, borderlining almost too much, but it was consensual, so that's what it was. Uh, but then she drops a doozy, and I'm like, oh, girl, girl, why would you stay with this man? He said he wanted to R word me. I'm not using that word on the channel. He's wanted to R word me, sexually assault me in a burning building, and then film it. Yeah, that's a red flag. And so Michelle kind of is like, okay, got it. And then that clicks for her immediately, like, hold on. And she goes back and she immediately is like, that's too close. That's a 1-to-1. She goes to Ezra, just like, hey, Ezra, by chance, did you and Dave ever film any of these things? And he eventually cops up to it. And she's like, well, why is that something you, out of all of this, that's something you should have informed me of. And she's like, you telling me that you have tapes with her, her, him and his another woman, his wife is like, and he's like, it's not Ashley. She's like, no, I know it's not Ashley. Like she may have some things, but she ain't the type of woman that's gonna let you do that to her on film. Who is it? And then that's when Ezra brings up it's his ex, Reba, and it's like they have a thing. She's the only one who knows sort of the true nature of who Dave is. And this, folks, is where I think Michelle sort of steps in it and messes up. It's kind of blows up the entire operation. Because if I know in my head that this person is the one person that truly knows Dave, I don't know if I would go sort of quote unquote guns blazing to talk to her, because she's definitely going to give him a tip to be like, hey, just so you're aware, some people are looking at you. But Michelle does it anyway. So she goes to see Reba at this very nice house. Reba's married with a kiddo. Um, she is using the front that say, hey, Dave's up for an award. But we need to do just to make sure that everything about his life and whatnot is on the up and up. It's just like this sort of a part of a background inspection. And Reba says Dave's an a-hole. He is. He's a good person, but he can be a dick. And that needs to self-reflect more. But he's very good at his job. And then she says they split because Dave wanted a wife and Reba wanted a partner. And they're very different things. Reba also says, like, I stepped out. Like I was unfaithful to Dave. To which she kind of feels like she's getting something back from Michelle. It's like, oh, Michelle's moral code doesn't sort of appreciate the affair. To which Michelle's like, nah, no, I'm good. I've had an affair too. And she sort of uses her personal life. It's like, no, I've stepped out and had an affair and dealt with infidelities as well. And then she sort of uses some of the stuff that Ashley gave her and sort of sprinkles that in. It's like, hey, sometimes when I saw him, I saw a reflection of somebody that was very different. That sort of raises a flag to Reba, like, hmm, you're searching for something. Got it. I can relate, but that ain't Dave, which she knows it is, but she's not going to give up Dave in this moment because she still does genuinely care about who Dave is. So back at their makeshift station, Ezra and Dawn / Hillary, wonder if they've blown it. They wonder if they've blown it, and they wonder if they messed up the entire case. And Ezra's like, nah, I think we're good. His spidey sense is tingled, but I think we'll reassess. He's not really on to anything, doesn't really know anything, so we should be fine. And they're like, well, where is he now? And so they're like, Dave's heading to a party. So then we see Dave feeling on cloud 9 again. He sort of regrouped after the vomiting piece led to the literary agent, which he sort of felt high. He's now sort of riding on cloud 9. And these people are here to sort of celebrate him. So he's making his way in. He's shaking hands. He's feeling good. He's kissing babies. If they were there, he would have. Then he gets a call. He gets a call from Reba. And we don't see her entire face, but we just sort of see her mouth moving to the fact that she was like, Michelle came to see me. And sort of gives him the tip that they're on to you. And he stares. He sees Michelle. Michelle's still floating in and like winking at him. But now the bravado of it doesn't feel as real because Dave has in the back of his head like, oh, okay. And so now he's on pins and needles, looking at Englehart and Steve, and kind of just like, I don't know what to trust in this bar. So then he goes up to the bar, and Captain Steve sort of goes to take the piss out of Dave a little bit, like, "Oh, you're a hero, you're a hero," singing to him, and they have a little moment. But it's like it's Steve knowing like you got away with this, but I'm gonna get you. And as they're kind of going back and forth, Steve's like, "And why is it that you like fires?" And Dave's like, "Wait, what did you say? I don't like fires. I fight fires." And so Michelle kind of comes and sort of block them away and step them away, and then she steps off, and then Steve follows. He's like, "Yeah, go ahead and follow your lap. You're like a lap dog." Which the reason why this affected Steve so much is because at the beginning of this episode, we saw that he is just like a lap dog. So it he knew where to twist the knife because he's not wrong in what he's doing. He is following behind her, like a lap dog. But Steve decides to sort of bring Dave down a level. It's like, you are a small man and you are a loser, and he gut punches him right in the front of everybody in the middle in the middle of his celebratory party. To which Englehart sees and kind of just like, nah, well, yeah, shit happens. And then Dave runs out of there, and Englehart follows him, and Dave sort of checks him and was like, "You saw him just punch me in the middle of a bar like a little bitch, and you didn't help me. You didn't come save me. You didn't come to my aid." And Englehart's like, "Well, I can't fight right now because the wedding and like my hand." And it's at that point that Dave's like, "I thought we were pals. I thought we were pals." To which Englehart immediately knows, like, crap. He knows. He tells that to Michelle. It's like, yeah, he knows. And Michelle's like, oh crap. So then Dave leaves and starts heading back to the precinct. And he's combing through his desk for files. Nothing, he can't find it. He goes to he breaks into Englehart's office for files, doesn't find it, but then he gets an idea of like, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. What's another location that Englehart knows pretty well? And that's the problem with being as close to Dave. He's going to eventually remember this, but Englehart thought he had it enough off the grid. It's like, oh, I'm going to go somewhere where people don't know. Fortunately, Dave did. And so he goes and he sees Ezra and Dawn leaving the newfound station that they had, the task force station. And he sees that Dawn was Hillary. It was the literary agent. And he's just like, oh crap, everything is closing in. Like, shit. Now, it's important to note that in his route to the precinct, there was a tracker that was on his car that gets knocked off. So, because of his erratic driving, they weren't able to track him. So, that's how Ezra and Dawn weren't able to see that he was outside their precinct, because I do know that there was a tracker on him originally. And the episode ends with a very beautiful moment, and sad moment with Freddie. Freddie takes his bedding, and sets it up to take his own life, to self transition. And before he does so, he remembers the happiest moments of his life. Um, and one of them was when he got his hair washed. That was one of the happiest moments of his by Brenda. Um, One was the merry-go-round, seeing all of those, and then the other was when he was accepted into the his last foster family. It looks like he was of an age where he would have been a little bit taller, but those foster families sort of taking care of him is when he was at his happiest. And when he got dismissed from that, when he got dismissed from Brenda, when he got dismissed or wasn't able to go to the merry-go-round anymore, that's when the happiness stopped. And so, at least in his self transition, he is hoping to have sort of some peace and happiness. And then they show all of it. It's a pretty intense scene. I almost feel like they should have probably. This is a show about fires and people dying in fire, so the warning piece of it is out the window. But and that's the episode, folks. A really, really powerful episode. A really good episode to see the mask come off of Dave, even at the expense of Freddie. Freddie sort of called him out and called him like, "Nope, you're just like me. Might be a little different way of presenting it, but you and I are the same." And you get to see him sort of descend to madness. Now it's going to be interesting to see, now that the cat's out of the bag and that the team is on to him, what does that do for him? Is he going to spiral even more out of control? Because right now he has no allies. Ash is not with him. Emmett's not with him. Michelle's not with him. Englehart's not with him. Like, he's a man on his own, and so I don't know what that does for him, in the scheme of like, does he continue to do fires? Would he just go half-coughing, to start making mistakes. Who knows? He does have the benefit of right now being the hero in the public eye, so that he can still go to the precinct and do his things that he does, because most people will let him go in and out of any door without a problem. It's only those 6, 7 people that are his inner circle that now he has to sort of be on the watch for. But great episode. I'm excited to see what happens next. What did you guys think about this 7th episode of Smoke called Whitewashed Tombstones? Go ahead and leave your thoughts and comments in the comments below. If you haven't already, you can follow us on X at HollywoodADI. You can hit us up on email at HollywoodAlreadyDidIt@gmail.com. We also have a podcast with the same name. That's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere that plays podcasts. We're there. And like always, I got my ticket. You got yours.